Hi there, welcome back to the Dukes. My name's Aidan Roberts-Jones. Thank you to everybody that's been watching over the past few videos where we've been talking a lot about grip positions, posture positions, really highlighting some real key fundamental parts, things that you might be already doing successfully already, but certain things that hopefully is going to improve your game and setup. Today we're going to be talking about width of stance and the importance of it. I'm going to really highlight or demonstrate to you some good parts and bad parts and how it can actually hinder the swing. As a general rule, dependent on what size and build you are, or a lot of people that have gone for lessons will be described that your feet should be about shoulder width apart, but a lot of people that have maybe tried to demonstrate that to me, a typical scenario would be is they would feel as if their shoulder width would be from this side of the foot to that side. It's actually the distance in between the feet, okay? So probably the most common scenario that I'll see is feet being too narrow. We know when the feet gets too narrow, if we're wanting to really accelerate through the ball, our stability isn't really going to be there. It doesn't really matter if the mechanics of the swing are actually pretty good. We're going to have a sense from the get-go into the takeaway and actually the follow-through, we're going to feel unstable through the swing, and I think we all know that that is not the best sensation to have. So that's the first thing that I want you to make sure that you check, that when you're getting yourself set up, the width in between the stance is shoulder width. For me personally, I tend to get a little bit wider because I'm quite tall. I like to get accelerated through the ball, so just having probably about an inch either way just to get adopt a little bit more of a wider stance will just feel as if I'm just that little bit more stable on my feet from the setup and into the swing as well. To quickly talk about a narrow stance and how that could potentially hinder us, if we kind of go into width either side, so that's going to be about my shoulder width either side there, you can see straight away that I'm standing a lot more taller to the ball. This is going to affect my swing by my arc's going to be a lot bigger, and therefore that's going to increase a lot more kind of speed into the swing. So if I'm increasing more speed into the swing, I'm not going to be as stable on my feet. I'm going to be probably quite unbalanced when I get into my follow through as well. What it also does is it really narrows the angle from in between the knees here, and I feel quite loose into the hips. So it's very easy for me to start to sway through the ball, a lot more kind of body movement, which isn't really going to be helping you if you want to try and produce your more consistent swing, which is ultimately what we want to look for. If we go the other way and really start to get into a wide stance, if we go into a real extreme position, the reason how this isn't going to help me is that by getting wider, I'm now going to start to get lower. My arc and my swing is going to get a lot smaller. But what it's also going to do is going to restrict my actual body turn. Because my knees are really that far apart now, it's going to actually hinder the movement of my hips. So as I get up into the top of my backswing, it's going to be quite difficult to get all the way up there. So people that do have a very wide stance, you're really only going to be hitting with the top half of your body. You've got to find that in between being too narrow and too wide. Get it about shoulder width apart, and what that's going to promote is a nice solid position up through the knees, up to here, up into the hips, feeling nice and stable, okay? But ultimately you're still going to have the flexibility as you're going through the ball, as in hitting more of the golf ball with your body, opposed to if you're too wide in the stance, hitting it with the top half. I hope that helps. I want everybody to kind of go away and work on that and check on it. If it's good, then great. Again, it's something that you always just need to keep an eye on and highlight for that way. Thank you very much for listening. Please, if you've got any questions, please email me at aroberts-jones@allcourshotel.co.uk. Thanks again for listening, and for the next session we're going to be talking about hand position, so I'll see you then. Cheers.